CT-7567, better known as Rex, was cloned from the genetic template of the legendary bounty hunter Jango Fett on Kamino. One of the first generations of clone troopers ever created, he went under intense training before becoming one of the Republic's best soldiers. When the Clone Wars began, Rex was assigned to the 501st Clone Battalion and fought in the First Battle of Geonosis. Although it was the start of the war, he showed outstanding leadership and immediately earned veteran status. Following the battle, the battalion was reorganized into the 501st Legion and placed under the command of Anakin Skywalker. While Rex held the rank of captain, he effectively became Anakin's second in command, leading one of the most accomplished and known clone legions to fans. Although they respected one another from the start, Anakin and Rex's friendship truly began during the Battle of Arantara. During the fight, Rex was wounded and knocked unconscious. Rather than continuing the mission, Anakin risked his own life to return and rescue him. Anakin felt guilty and admitted that he should have been the one in danger because a leader should always be in the front. It was that moment Rex would never forget. He realized Anakin didn't see him as an expendable clone, he saw him as a life worth saving. From that day on, the two shared an inseparable bond. Later, Rex fought in the Siege of Mandalore, before taking part in one of the Republic's most early victories, the Battle of Christophsis. Fighting alongside Anakin, Obi-Wan, Commander Cody, and thousands of other clones, Rex helped liberate the planet from Separatist control. The battle quickly took an unexpected turn when Obi-Wan and Cody's planned ambush was discovered. Forcing the Republic onto the defensive now, Rex would rush to reinforce them, and they retreated onto a nearby rooftop, holding off tons of battle droids until an LAAT gunship finally arrived to safely evacuate them. It was aboard this gunship that the clone trooper Gus recovered a severed head of a tactical droid, and after examining the memory banks, Rex and Cody made the shocking discovery that the droid had classified Republic intelligence inside that should have been impossible for the Separatists to obtain. They knew someone inside the Republic was feeding them information. Back at the Republic base, Rex and Cody launched their own private investigation. While discussing the situation, they realized someone had been listening to every word they said through a comm link left on. Shortly afterwards, they spotted a suspicious clone and chased him, but the clone managed to escape, with one thing now being certain: the Republic spy was one of their own. Unable to contact Anakin or Obi-Wan, they had R2-D2 help analyze the comm link transmission. The investigation showed unusual frequencies coming from Sergeant Slick's barracks, questioning Slick and his men, which only rose suspicions. During interrogations, Slick accidentally revealed he already knew that Jedi weren't at the base, a detail in which he should have never known. Realizing he had exposed himself, Slick attempted to flee. Along the way, he sabotaged a nearby weapons depot, destroying valuable ships and gunships before disappearing into the ventilation systems. Anticipating his next move, Rex and Cody pretended to abandon the search, and this gamble paid off. Believing the coast was clear, Slick would drop from the ceiling only to be immediately captured, in which he would be brought to justice. Rex would meet Anakin's new Padawan, Ahsoka Tano. He was tasked with helping her understand the responsibilities of leading soldiers into battle, and the opportunity to see what she could do came almost immediately, still on Christophsis. Rex noticed Separatists using portable deflector shields to protect their advances. With quick thinking, he ordered his men to lure the battle droids into nearby buildings where the shields wouldn't be as effective. Even though the 501st suffered heavy casualties, Rex adapted as the battle unfolded. Obi-Wan pretended to surrender, the Separatists would lower their shields, Rex instantly recognized an opening and ordered cannons to fire, destroying enemy tanks and turning the tide of the battle back to the Republic. This victory meant a lot, but especially to Rex, as it showed that Anakin trusted Rex's judgment, further adding layers to the amount of respect that they had. With Christophsis secured, Rex would accompany Anakin and Ahsoka to the planet Teth on a mission to rescue Jabba the Hutt's kidnapped son, Rada the Hutt. The Separatists, led by Asajj Ventress, were also on their way to capture the young Hutt, forcing the Republic into a desperate race against time. Trying to give the two Jedi enough time to complete their rescue, Rex with other clone troopers remained behind to hold off waves of enemy forces. During this, Rex was captured by Asajj Ventress, who attempted to use the Force to pry the Jedi's location from his mind, but to her surprise, he was able to withstand these efforts. Realizing Anakin needed to know something was wrong, Rex deliberately broke military protocol by addressing him by his first name over the comms. Anakin knew that something was off, and this subtle warning bought Rex precious time, allowing him to break free, seize a fallen battle droid's blaster, and fight his way back to safety until Obi-Wan and Commander Cody arrived with reinforcements to secure the Republic's victory. Not every mission Rex took part of was straightforward, though. During the Battle of Mimban, he fought alongside the Mudjumpers of the 224th under Jedi Lon Tick. When the Jedi was killed in combat, the command fell unexpectedly into Jar Jar Binks, who was somehow the highest-ranking Republic official still alive, despite having no military experience. While on paper things seemed hopeless, Jar Jar had an unorthodox way of leadership. Rex himself was wounded during the battle and was saved when Jar Jar used General Tick's lightsaber to drive advancing battle droids. At one point, Rex quickly exchanged his blaster for the Jedi's lightsaber, using it to hold off Separatist assault until the Republic secured the battlefield. Soon after, Rex and Cody were assigned to inspect the Republic listening post on the Rishi Moon. From the moment they established communication, something just felt off. The station's clone troopers were unusually eager to just send them off, insisting everything was operating as normal and they didn't need to be there. And to their suspicions, they were right, as one of the clones responded with Roger Roger, proving that it was overtaken by battle droids. With the outpost overrun by droids and a fight ensuing, they encountered a few clones who actually made it out alive, with Fives, Echo, and Heavy, who were still considered shinies, as none of them had experienced real combat before. Despite their lack of experience, they had the team together to find a way to safety. As the battle intensified, the Republic discovered a massive Separatist fleet approaching the system. The only option now was to destroy the station before the Separatists could arrive. The clones attempted to arm the station's self-destruct charges, but the detonator wouldn't work, and without hesitation, Heavy volunteered to stay behind and trigger the explosion manually. Rex tried to convince him to retreat, but Heavy was refusing. He would sacrifice himself, detonating the station, destroying the Separatist advanced warning system, and giving the Republic enough time to prepare its defenses. His bravery left a lasting impression on Rex, and recognizing the courage displayed by the other survivors, Rex, with open arms, welcomed Fives and Echo into the 501st. The war raged on, and Rex, Anakin, and Ahsoka tracked a Separatist listening post hidden within the Ruusan system. After battling their way through waves of droids, they came face to face with General Grievous. Grievous nearly killed Rex before Ahsoka could intervene. While rigging the station's reactors to explode, the clones uncovered another betrayal. The astromech droid R3-S6, nicknamed Goldie, had also been working with the Separatists all along. The droid summoned enemy reinforcements, forcing Rex and his squad to fight before escaping moments before the post was destroyed. Rex's services alongside Anakin soon took him across countless battlefields. He fought beside Admiral Yularen, Ahsoka, Aayla Secura, and Commander Bly during the campaign against Loch Durd and Maridun. After surviving a devastating explosion, Rex remained behind to protect Anakin, who was injured while others searched for help. Together, the Republic eventually infiltrated Durd's fortress, stole shield generators, defeated the Separatist commander, and liberated the planet. From there, Rex participated in the liberation of Ryloth, where he watched Ahsoka mature into a far more confident and stronger leader. With little time to celebrate these victories, Rex later fought on Felucia, where overwhelming Separatist forces forced the Republic into a difficult retreat before taking part in the Battle of Malastare. Here, the Republic deployed their experimental electro-proton bomb, a weapon powerful enough to disable an entire droid army, and the blast did succeed, but it also triggered the emergence of the legendary Zillo Beast. Rather than destroy one of the last creatures of its kind, the Republic was able to stun it and transport it to Coruscant to further study it. This decision did backfire rather quickly, as the Zillo Beast escaped captivity and rampaged through the capital. Rex watched as a massive creature nearly brought down Palpatine's shuttle before Mace Windu and Obi-Wan combined their own strengths to prevent it from crashing. Using plenty of tactics to try and stun it again, the Zillo Beast did eventually die due to deadly gas. Though unknowingly to almost everyone, Palpatine secretly ordered the Zillo Beast to be cloned. Rex would return to Geonosis for the Republic's second campaign to the planet, and he would even join Anakin and Adi Gallia to the Seleucami system to rescue Master Eth Koth, who was captured by General Grievous. It was a successful mission, but while investigating Grievous's abandoned shuttle, Rex was shot by a sniper and left stranded. He would encounter Cut Lawquane, who would turn out to be a clone trooper who deserted the Republic earlier. At first, Rex would view him as a coward who would abandon his brothers, but after seeing the life he built for himself, his perspective began to change. He realized that clones could choose their own destiny, and while he might not agree with the choice, he respected it. Rather than arrest Cut and bring him to justice, he kept his existence a secret, respecting the peaceful life that he now has. Nearly 2 years after the Battle of Geonosis, Jedi Master Evan Piel was captured and imprisoned on the Citadel on Lola Sayu, one of the most secure prisons in the galaxy. Rex, volunteering for the rescue mission alongside Anakin and Obi-Wan and a small strike team, would approach the prison unexpectedly, and every member of the squad was frozen in carbonite, something Rex admitted he had never done before. Even Anakin confessed he hasn't done it either. They infiltrated the prison, the team freed him, and fought their way through endless waves of battle droids. At one point, the Citadel magnetic security system stripped the clones of their weapons and even immobilized Anakin due to his cybernetics, but despite the setback, Anakin was able to regain his lightsaber and take down the system. Although the Republic ultimately rescued the surviving prisoners, Piel sacrificed his life to ensure intelligence remained out of Separatist hands. The mission was a success, but Rex had little time to recover before being sent onto one of the darkest campaigns in the entire Clone Wars, Umbara. Originally thought to be led into battle by Anakin Skywalker, it would turn out Pong Krell would be taking charge as Anakin was recalled to Coruscant. From the very beginning, something was off. Krell viewed the clones as expendable, and he ordered countless reckless assaults with almost no regard for casualties, dismissing Rex's concerns and refusing to adapt tactics. Every victory came with an enormous cost, and the morale within the 501st rapidly declined. Clones like Fives and Jesse openly questioned the leadership, only to be arrested for insubordination, and Rex struggled to balance his loyalty to the chain of command with the responsibility to protect the men under his command. Everything came to a halt when Krell ordered the 501st to attack what he claimed were disguised Umbarian soldiers. In reality, they were other fellow clone troopers. Quickly realizing this, the clones rallied together and were going to arrest Krell for treason. Krell responded by igniting his lightsabers and carving through waves of clones before the Legion finally ended up using a stun blaster on him. It turns out Krell betrayed the Republic in hopes of joining the Separatists and pledging allegiance to Count Dooku. The Jedi would then be executed as Rex couldn't pull the trigger, but Dogma did, bringing one of the darkest chapters of the Clone Wars to an end. As we get deeper into the Clone Wars, Rex's loyalty never changed. When Ahsoka was accused of bombing the Jedi Temple, Rex refused to believe she was guilty. No matter what evidence was presented, he insisted that she would never commit such an act. Although Ahsoka was eventually proven innocent, the damage was already done. As she felt betrayed by the Jedi Order, she chose to walk away. Rex had now lost one of the people who he trusted the most. During another battle, Clone Trooper Tup suddenly turned on the Jedi General Tiplar and killed her without warning. None of the clones understood what happened, but Tup's inhibitor chip ended up malfunctioning. For safety measures, they sent him back to Kamino for further examination. Before he could arrive, Separatist forces intercepted the transport, where Rex, Anakin, and Fives launched a rescue mission and recovered him. But it turns out Tup would die before anyone could discover the true cause of his behavior. Refusing to let the mystery die with him, Clone Trooper Fives launched his own private investigation, and he would discover the truth. Buried deep within every Clone Trooper's brain were the inhibitor chips. Fives realized the chips weren't meant to protect the clones at all, they were designed to control them. Fives tried to tell Anakin and Rex what was going on, but nobody could believe him, and they all thought he was going crazy. Before Fives could convince them, Commander Fox and the Coruscant guards arrived to arrest him. Fives was panicking and believed he had no way out. The Coruscant guards immediately opened fire, and they would put an end to Fives. As the Clone Wars entered its final months, the Republic launched a major offensive attack during the Battle of Annexus. While reviewing the Separatists' unusual effective battle strategies, there was something unusual about it. The tactics were identical to a former clone, Echo, who was presumed to be dead. Rex refused to believe it was a coincidence and truly believed that he was still alive, and thankfully to his suspicions, they investigated this. Sharing his theory with Anakin Skywalker and Commander Cody, they joined forces with the Clone Force 99, better known as the Bad Batch, who were an elite squad of genetically enhanced clones. The investigation led them to the Separatist Cyber Center, where they uncovered encrypted transmissions originating from Echo's clone identification number, and that confirmed Rex's suspicions of Echo still being alive. Following the signal to the planet Skakabo Minor, Rex, Anakin, and the Bad Batch would infiltrate a Techno-Union facility. Wat Tambor would be there, and he would reveal that they had just walked into a trap. Fighting their way through countless droids, they finally got to a stasis chamber deep within the building. Inside was Echo. Barely recognizable after months of being experimented on, Echo had been transformed into a living computer. Unknowingly, Echo was used to provide the Separatists with information that had cost countless clone lives. Without hesitation, Rex and the others freed Echo. As they escaped, the facility was under heavy fire, and Echo thanked Rex for never giving up on him. Rex apologized for taking so long to find him, a quiet but emotional moment that reflected a bond shared between the clones. Returning to Anaxis, Echo used the very cybernetic enhancements the Separatists had forced upon him to help the Republic strike back. He infiltrated Admiral Trench's dreadnought and fed fake information into the Separatist network, completely messing up their defenses. Admiral Trench realized his plans had unraveled, and he activated a self-destruct sequence that threatened to destroy the Republic's victory. Anakin confronted the commander one final time and ended up killing him. With the battle won, Echo made a life-changing decision, and rather than return to the 501st, he decided to join the Bad Batch. With only days remaining in the Clone Wars, the Republic launched one last offensive attack against the Separatists on Umbara. Fighting alongside Anakin and the rest of the 501st, they helped break a massive droid blockade. Anakin distracted the tactical droid commanding the army, and Rex led the 501st in a surprise attack, launching from beneath a bridge with jetpacks and overwhelming the enemy positions. This would be one of the last battles Rex ever fought alongside Anakin. But not long after, Ahsoka would return. For the first time leaving the Jedi Order, Ahsoka would reunite with Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Rex. She arrived alongside Bo-Katan with a request. The former Sith Lord Maul had seized control over Mandalore, and Bo-Katan needed a Republic army to help liberate her home world. Although the Jedi Council wanted Anakin and Obi-Wan elsewhere, Anakin refused to let Ahsoka face Maul alone. He divided his forces, and Rex would be promoted to commander, and Anakin placed him in charge of the newly formed unit known as the 332nd Company, a detachment of the legendary 501st Legion assigned to fight under Ahsoka's command. One of the coolest things about these clones were their helmets were repainted to have Ahsoka's distinctive markings on them. As the Republic fleet arrived over Mandalore, Bo-Katan was presented with one final attempt at negotiating, but ultimately declined. Moments later, the Mandalorian super commandos would attack the Republic transports. The clones activated their jetpacks, and the battle ensued. Between the ground and the air, it was an all-out assault. Darth Maul, who was the ruler of Mandalore at this time, anticipated the arrival of the Republic, believing that Obi-Wan or Anakin would come and confront him, but instead Maul would find Ahsoka. Realizing that she had walked into a trap, she secretly activated her beacon, allowing Rex and the 332nd to track her location. Fighting through waves of Mando super commandos, Rex reached her position just in time, forcing Maul to retreat into the city's underground tunnels. Though he escaped, the Republic tightened its grip on the capital. During the fighting, Jesse was actually captured, and Maul used force probing on him, allowing the Sith to learn valuable info about the Republic's plans. With forces closing in every direction, the Republic finally secured Mandalore. Gar Saxton and the remaining super commandos were captured, while Ahsoka confronted Maul, having one final duel above the city. Ahsoka would be victorious in this battle, taking Maul captive. Mandalore had been liberated, and the Clone Wars was appearing to come to an end. While they were aboard the Venator-class Star Destroyer on their way back to Coruscant, everything seemed normal, but it was far from that as Order 66 was about to take place. Standing on the bridge together, Rex would be called away for an important transmission, which was Palpatine ordering Order 66 to ensue. Rex for a brief moment began to fight the Order, but ultimately the inhibitor chip overtook him as he began to attack Ahsoka, who was able, thanks to Anakin's training, avoid the ambush by all the clones and escape for a brief period of time. In this moment, she was able to stun Rex and take him to a medical bay with the medical droid to get his inhibitor chip removed, and break Maul out of his cell to use him as a distraction to buy her time. Rex and Ahsoka had to devise a plan to get off the ship safely, and they used the astromech droids to try to let them get to the new class shuttle, which was in the hangar bay where the rest of the clones were waiting for them, led by Jesse. Refusing to kill the clones, Rex was fighting back tears and knew that the clones wouldn't show mercy to either of them. They even tried to state that Ahsoka was no longer a Jedi since she left the Order, but they still wanted her executed, and now Rex was seen as an enemy for not executing Ahsoka. Maul stole the new class shuttle, but while Ahsoka tried to use the Force to hold the ship from leaving, it was no good as Rex could only hold off the clones for so much longer. Having to let the ship go, the new plan was to get to a Republic Y-Wing from the maintenance bay and fly it off the ship as the Venator began to plummet. The Venator was crashing in a fiery explosion, and the Clone Wars has come to an end as the Empire rose to power. Rex and Ahsoka would search the wreckage and gather the helmets of the clones and would bury them and make a grave for each one of them. And it's important to note that in this crash, Captain Rex was listed as killed in action, but in all reality, he survived. Now that the Clone Wars has come to an end, neither knew what the future would hold, but they knew it wasn't safe for either of them, and they could no longer remain together. But before they split up, they made one final stop as they traveled to Naboo, where Ahsoka would secretly attend the funeral of Padme, while Rex remained behind with their Y-Wing, hidden amongst the crowds. It was after this where the two would part ways. Since Rex was listed as killed in action, no one was searching for him, which made his escape that much easier. Rex would return to visit his old friend Cut Lawquane. There, Rex revealed the horrifying truth behind Order 66 and warned him about the inhibitor chips that were planted in each one of the clones. Before leaving, he refused to say where he was headed to next, choosing instead to continue fighting in whatever way he could. Rex would begin to build a secret network dedicated to helping clones escape Imperial control. This would eventually become known as the Clone Underground, giving countless clones a chance to reclaim the freedom that they once been denied their entire life. During this time, Rex also recruited allies such as Trance and Rafa Martez, expanding his growing resistance against the Empire. But not long after, the Martez sisters informed Rex that the Bad Batch had survived Order 66 and were hiding on Ord Mantell. Disguising himself beneath the cloak, Rex traveled to meet his old friends. The Bad Batch was happy to see Rex again, especially Echo. Rex also met Omega, the Bad Batch's newest member, before explaining everything that had happened since the fall of the Republic. But the happy greetings were short-lived, as things turned serious when Rex would learn that most of the Bad Batch still had their inhibitor chips, knowing exactly what they were capable of and that they could activate at any time. It was his mission now to take him to the scrapper world of Bracca, where there was medical equipment to safely remove their chips. But unfortunately, Wrecker's chip would activate and he would attack his own squad, forcing the Bad Batch and Rex to subdue him without him getting seriously hurt. They were able to restrain him long enough for Tech to successfully remove his chip, and one by one they were able to remove the Bad Batch's chips. Now that this was complete, Rex tried to encourage the Bad Batch to continue fighting for what remained in the Republic, but Hunter wasn't ready to make that commitment, believing that his responsibility was to protect his family. Rex understood this, but was disappointed, and before leaving, Hunter promised that if Rex ever needed anything, the Bad Batch would be there. During one mission, Rex received a distress signal from an old friend, Gregor. He had been captured attempting to escape Imperial service while training for the Empire. Unable to reach Gregor himself, Rex contacted the Bad Batch. Knowing Rex would never ask for help unless needed, Echo convinced Hunter to abandon their current mission and help. Although the operation was successful, Hunter was captured by the Empire in the process, forcing another rescue mission. Not long after, Rex returned to Coruscant after receiving another call for help, this time from the clone trooper Slip. By the time he arrived, Slip had already been killed when attempting to expose the Empire's cover-up surrounding the destruction of Tipoca City on Kamino. The investigation reunited Rex with Senator Rio Chuchi, who was fighting to protect the rights of the remaining clones that the Empire prepared to replace with the Stormtroopers. Working with the Bad Batch, Rex infiltrated Vice Admiral Rampart's Star Destroyer to recover evidence exposing the destruction of Kamino. Although Rampart was eventually arrested, Palpatine manipulated the situation to push through the Imperial Defense Recruitment Bill, officially starting the replacement of clone troopers throughout the entire galaxy. For years, Rex continued operating in secret, rescuing countless clones who wanted nothing more than to have their own freedom and choices. Eventually, Rex stepped away from the front lines. Alongside fellow clone veterans Wolf and Gregor, he settled aboard a modified AT-AT Walker on the remote desert world of Selos. Although Rex claimed his days as a soldier were over, the war hadn't been finished. Years later, Ahsoka, now operating with the Rebel crew, sent a group of rebels led by Ezra Bridger and Kanan Jarrus to seek Rex's help. The first meeting did not go smooth. Kanan was a survivor of Order 66 and didn't have any trust for the clones. Sensing his hesitation, Rex revealed the truth. He, Wolf, and Gregor had all removed their chips and never willingly betrayed the Jedi. Kanan was skeptical, and Rex agreed to help the growing alliance by providing the locations of abandoned Republic bases. Out of fear, Wolf contacted the Empire, and Rex convinced his old friend that the rebels were not the enemies. Imperial forces quickly descended onto the planet, and despite being outnumbered, the clones made one final stand against the Empire. Inspired by their courage, Ezra and the Ghost crew refused to abandon the clones and fought alongside them. Together they fought the Imperial forces back. Watching the rebels risk their lives to save him reminded Rex of the Jedi that he had once fought beside during the Clone Wars. Rex now accepted Ezra's invitation to join the Rebel Alliance. Even though Rex proved his loyalty, Kanan still had trust issues with the clones. But an opportunity to put their differences aside came when needing to rescue Ezra and Commander Jun Sato. Disguising themselves as stormtroopers, Rex and Kanan infiltrated the massive warship they were being held on alongside Chopper. The operation wasn't without its disagreements, as Kanan wanted to rescue their friends and escape immediately, while Rex said that they should also destroy the ship before the Empire could use it against the rebellion. Despite their different approaches, they fought alongside each other through waves of stormtroopers, at one point frustrated by the poor visibility of the helmets. Rex threw his helmet at an enemy, joking that clone armor had been much better. The mission took a turn when Rex stayed behind to cover the others' escape. Rex would be captured and offered a chance to return to Imperial service in exchange for betraying the rebels, and without hesitation he refused. Enduring torture, he never considered abandoning his new allies. Kanan would go back for Rex as he saw that he sacrificed himself to save everyone else. Together they would all escape before Chopper would sabotage it, causing the massive cruiser to destroy itself. For the first time since the fall of the Republic, Kanan saw Rex for who he was, not as a clone who had betrayed the Jedi, but as someone who was overcome with programming and chose to fight for freedom. For the first time since the fall of the Republic, Kanan was able to put his differences with the clones aside. As the Rebel Alliance grew, Rex became one of its most experienced leaders. With tons of combat experience, he helped train new soldiers, plan military operations, and advised the Phoenix Squadron during missions against the Empire. His knowledge of the Clone Wars proved to be invaluable. While investigating strange Imperial activity above Geonosis, Rex was shocked to discover the once populated world almost completely deprived of life. Having fought there during the Clone Wars, he knew billions of Geonosians had once called that planet their home. The Phoenix Squadron was searching for a permanent home, and Rex oversaw the establishment of Chopper Base on the remote world of Atollon. There, he organized the base's defenses, trained its personnel, and continued to serve as one of the rebellion's most trusted commanders. Before departing for the Sith world of Malachor, Rex offered to accompany Ahsoka, but she declined, insisting the mission was only one a Jedi could undertake. Before leaving, the two would share a final lighthearted conversation. And jokingly, Rex reminded her that experience outranks everything. When the Ghost crew finally returned, Ahsoka wasn't with them. Seeing Kanan and Ezra step off the shuttle, Rex understood what had happened. Believing he'd lost one of the few people he still considered family, Rex would mourn the loss of a friend that he thought had died facing the Empire alone. Even though the heartbreak, he still refused to stop fighting. Over the next few months, he participated in numerous operations, helping recover valuable Republic-era starfighters, defending outposts, and monitoring the younger soldiers who'd never experienced the Clone Wars. While searching for supplies on the world of Agmar, Rex and the Ghost crew discovered a battalion of Separatist battle droids that have never received the shutdown command at the end of the Clone Wars. So for all this time, there were a bunch of droids that still thought the war was happening. Now they were thrown into one final Clone Wars battle years after the war. Rex, Kanan, and Ezra fought alongside wave after wave of droids, relying on the same tactics Rex used years earlier while serving the Republic. Eventually, they reached the command center, but before either side could claim victory, the Empire had arrived. Now faced with a common enemy, Ezra convinced Rex and the droid in command with Kalani to put aside their conflict and work together. Now for the first time, clone troopers and droids fought alongside one another. They were able to drive enemy forces back and escape off-world, where they were able to convince Kalani that this was a victory. But as the rebellion grew stronger, so did the Empire's response. Thrawn eventually discovered the location of Chopper Base and launched an assault to the Phoenix Squadron, ending that once and for all. Rex took command of the planet's defenses. Working alongside Zeb, he helped activate Sabine's prototype shield generator before organizing defense positions throughout the canyon, leading to the rebel base. Imperial walkers advanced. Rex relied on the same battle tactics that carried him through the Clone Wars, destroying several enemy vehicles before being overwhelmed by clone forces, forcing the rebels to retreat. Jun Sato sacrificed himself, buying time for the other rebels to escape. Even then, Rex would refuse to surrender, fighting along his new friends for as long as possible, making one final stand beneath the caves of Atollon before the mysterious force being known as Bendu unleashed a massive storm that scattered both Imperial and Rebel forces. With the help of Mandalorians led by Sabine Wren, the surviving rebels would escape into hyperspace. Although Atollon was lost, the rebellion would survive. In the coming months, Rex joined the Alliance's growing command structure on Yavin 4 before answering Ezra's call to liberate the homeworld of Lothal. The mission reunited Rex with two of the oldest brothers he had left, Gregor and Wolf. For one final time, 3 veterans of the Clone Wars fought alongside, disguised once again as stormtroopers. They infiltrated Imperial headquarters, while Ezra and others launched the final assault on Lothal. The mission was a success, but it came as a cost, as Gregor was wounded. Rushing to his side, Gregor would take his final breath. But moments later, Ezra would sacrifice himself to remove Thrawn from the galaxy, allowing the rebels to finally liberate Lothal. And years later, Rex was promoted to commander within the Rebel Alliance and chose to join Han Solo's elite team during the Battle of Endor. He would stand alongside Han Solo, Princess Leia, Chewbacca, and his old friend R2-D2, helping destroy the Imperial shield generator, protecting the second Death Star. And now with the destruction of the Death Star, Rex was able to live long enough to see freedom return to the galaxy. But fans were able to see him once again as Ahsoka's journey through the world between worlds revealed key moments from the Clone Wars where Rex would appear fighting alongside her during battles like Ryloth, the Siege of Mandalore, and other memories during the Clone Wars. Rex is truly iconic and to many the greatest clone trooper of all time. So let me know in the comments below who your favorite clone is. Don't forget to use the Force on that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.